Welcome back to the Tactical Series Episode 1, Part 4. This is going to be a run of our epic Undead team, but with no runes. So we used Zom in the last run. We got to strip his runes off now and see what is the Undead team if you don't have them runed. So the goal of this particular video is to say, let's just say that you've taken the time to go through and get all of your heroes max epic, and you're, sitting on cloud 9 as far as epics go. Is that going to matter when it comes to boss mode, or is it really all of the runes? Remember, that's the entire point of this mini-series, is to say, what's more important in the grand scheme of things? Should I get epics or should I get runes? So we're setting up our Undead team. Nobody's got ruined. You can see me scrolling through here. I did that just so that you could see that there were no runes attached to any of those guys. I didn't want to mislead anybody and make you think that I was doing something other than what I said. So we're running the same dungeon. We're going to pick our Undead team. We just got to clear these other guys out here first. And what I found interesting is the Undead team still has a pretty high level of hero power, which it feels to me like the hero power might be slightly misleading in the grand scheme of things. I know anybody that's spent a lot of time in PvP, hero power isn't everything. Obviously, it can be extremely misleading. Now, this 25,000 hero power, a lot of people would love to have a hero power like that for running the late stage challenge modes and then running boss mode dungeons. But this video here is to show you that hero power is not necessarily all it's cracked up to be. So keep in mind, we have Hansuke and Yorick both with max epic, and Braum has a pretty high epic himself. So we have 3 guys, plus we have Undead Synergy. And I chose to not do an auto run on this particular dungeon like the first one, and for good reason. If you see that, that was the first sign that this is not auto attack material. So 1, Zom attacked the pig, barely did any damage at all. Braum then follows up with an epic attack on the same pig, does not kill him. So once I saw that, I felt like this was going to be an absolute nightmare. If my 2 big hitters are not doing damage, it really goes to show that the runes on those guys is what makes those guys those guys. So Braum and Zom are beast mode because of the runes that they have. I kind of got the sense of that right from this very first room here. If neither of these guys are going to get those solo kill shots, then it's going to revert back to tactics. And surprisingly, in this run, I'm extremely let down by both Yorick and Hansuke. Both of those guys are really wimping out when it comes to the epics. Normally, when I just do auto runs, those guys are doing epics all the time. And I know it's 30% chance, and it seems like it's every other attack is an epic, and Yorick is healing the team. You'll have to do some counting. I didn't look at it in the long run how many epics both of those guys actually did, but I'll tell you that I was a little bit disappointed in the frequency, which ultimately wouldn't have helped me kill things faster, but it would have made things less stressful in situations like this when these guys are not actually getting kill shots and they're getting close to death. Now, obviously, I don't have a ton of health runes on those guys, but Braum normally does have at least 1 bulwark. He gets a little bit of a boost, but when you see this here and you see both your 2 biggest hitters are already weak and losing health, you're pretty much thinking, okay, is Yorick ever going to do his heal? And we have another turn where he does not. So I ultimately chose, well, I want to save one of them. Let's use Hansuke's heal and at least get a little bit of health back on one of them. So it works, saves a little bit, and then I was contemplating a second here of using the Taste for Brains, and you could see usually that's my go-to, and I was extremely let down with that it didn't actually kill him. I mean, he was already diseased, he was over half dead, and it didn't kill him. Now, normally Zom kills everything he touches, and Taste for Brains is pretty good deal. But the fact that I didn't get that, I was pretty sour about that. Now, should I have used Yorick regular attack and tried to go for his epic? I probably should have, but I went with the Guardian Strike instead to just get a little extra defense because the way things were going, I was afraid that he wasn't going to do his epic and that was going to open up these guys to just basically kill Zom. And I thought maybe a little bit of extra defense, he could at least soak up the next hit and then it would buy me an extra turn. Ultimately, what would be nice is if Zom could get a killing blow and then he could heal a little bit. You can see I use Vigilance on Hansuke. He's going to save Zom from some death blows, which at this point here is a high probability. So normally I don't need to use Vigilance at all with Hansuke, but I said this dungeon was looking less and less promising the further I got in. So I do have Revive Potion in my bag there. It's not opened up, but I was prepared for the event that it didn't go over well. So I haven't been keeping track, but I still don't think Yorick has done a single epic attack yet. So it's been pretty weak sauce from him. Like I said, I don't know if it was just a coincidence that the one time I pull all the runes off of these guys, he just doesn't do any attacks. But same thing there. Normally that would have been a kill shot from Braum, but it just did not work this time. So again, I went for a kill rather than trying for the epic attack. Probably could have did either or, but I was hoping to actually secure a kill there. So even that attack there didn't do much damage, and that Septic Claw is actually pretty powerful most days too. So anybody watching this and thinks that their Braum and Zom are just totally awesome, try and run some harder dungeons without having those runes on there and see how well he fares. It's, like I said, this was a very eye-opening experience. I thought, personally, just having the epics and the team synergies with the Undead would be enough to just carry you through almost anything, which it just is not the case. So it's certainly a nice little experiment to do. I'm glad that I could share it with everybody here and so that you don't have to do the testing yourself. I'm always scientific in nature. I like to learn all these little nuances here. So still another attack from Yorick, no epic, not surprising there. And even Hansuke, I haven't been keeping track of him, but I think he did like one epic so far. You can see me contemplating Taste for Brains yet again. I paused a little bit, but this one here actually worked. Those little beast guys weren't as armored, so I felt like the spirit attack would probably hit them a little bit better. I saw from the previous attempt doing it on those pigs, just it did not pan out. So wasn't really able to gauge how successful Braum's attack was, his AOE there, because it lowers their max health. But so I ultimately decided to keep using abilities here. You can see Yorick did his Guardian Strike, but it didn't do much to him. Nice epic attack from Hansuke. That's nice to get an extra defensive buff there. Always like to have that. But we're still in the same situation as we had been, where Braum and Zom are still taking quite a bit of damage. We got lucky that Braum was able to do a kill blow there and at least get some health back, which is kind of necessary. Another non-epic attack from Yorick. Still, like I said, very underwhelming. Even though the attack power is not there, I felt like if Yorick and Hansuke would have been doing more and more epics, I feel like the survivability would have been much, much higher. And ultimately, I think the epic attacks is what makes the auto run so successful, is because you don't have to stop and wonder if your guys are going to die. And in this case here, if neither of my two main epic guys are not going to be very epic at all, auto runs are just out of the question. We saw plenty of times in this run where I had to use actual tactics and stop and think about what I actually wanted to do. So we're back to the boss fight here. We're basically determining how we want to approach this. Like I said, with the Undead, I am going to use Mark for Death, and we are going to use Kozar. So having seen the first three, it probably would have been honestly smarter to try and mark the Echo, because I didn't know where this was going to go attack-wise. And I know that Echo, once he whips out Energize and that little storm that he does, it's not going to be good for this team. So I was thinking maybe I should have marked him instead, but I wanted to maintain consistency. And the last time I did it, I marked him and actually picked a really good friend Kozar here. Compared to what the other ones were, I'm really pleased with how that one went. Had the bull not died, I'm not really sure what would have happened. He obviously would have got a attack off, which I probably would have survived, but the subsequent attacks after that, that's where we really can't determine what would have actually happened. So, wasn't able to kill the Echo in one hit. We know he's not immune to darkness, so the dark attack from Braum actually works pretty good. So hopefully this video here was an eye-opening experience for everyone as far as how epics versus runes play a part. So stick around for one more video. I have a quick summary of the experience here. Stick around. We'll be right back. Thanks.